Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabans. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. I'm going to give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a great show for you guys. So let's get directly into it. So there's a story that I've been a bit late to catch up to. And it's centered on the New England Patriots head coach. What's the guy's name here? Vrabel. I think his name is Vrabel. And as a matter of fact, let me confirm the names of these people here. So it's Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel. So apparently there's this kind of scandal that's broken in the world of sports. And I think Dianna Russini works for The Athletic, and she recently resigned from her job. But essentially, there was some photographs of these two people. They were photographed, I think, by the pool or something like that, which now brought into the public forum the whole thing of like the integrity of sports and what goes on behind the scenes and our people being ethical and things like that, right? That's been the conversation that this whole scandal has sparked. So I actually really got some details about this from an article that I got here from Awful Announce, and it says Skip Bayless explains outrage over the game within the game in Dianna Russini photos, right? And then the article then continues on. It says, as former NFL reporter, Skip Bayless believes the photos of Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel exposes a larger industry issue. Last week, Page Six published photos of Russini, a senior NFL insider for The Athletic, poolside at an adult-only hotel with New England's Patriot head coach Mike Vrabel. Russini and Vrabel immediately issued strong denials against any implications of a romantic relationship between them. And then it says, in the wake of these photos being published, however, The Athletic has opened an investigation into Russini's conduct, while Vrabel, the Patriots pre-draft press conference on Monday, and it says, according to Bayless, he has witnessed similarly alleged relationships between a reporter and athlete or coach. So Skip Bayless, who's on part of the arena and all of this, decided to weigh in on this, and I thought he pretty much spilled the tea. He spilled the beans of what goes on behind the scenes. But before we even get into what Skip Bayless had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. All right, guys, the playoff push is heating up. Tournament hoops are here. The Masters is underway, and the NBA playoffs are right around the corner. There's no better way to cash in if you're right on all of this action than PrizePicks, America's #1 sports pick app. So I jumped into their team picks feature, and honestly, I had no idea why I waited this long. First time I tried it, I was picking game winners on some of these games. Came out right on my first one, and watching the game just hit completely different after that. And here's what I love. On top of the players' picks you already know, you can now pick game winners, spreads, and totals. You can even call who wins the championship or takes home the MVP. Mix and match across basketball, baseball, hockey, golf, all in the same app. And if your picks get off to a hot start, you can cash out early before the game even ends. Now download the PrizePicks app today, pick your first game winner, spread, or total as the playoff push rolls on, and get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup when you use code CLNS. That's code CLNS to get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. All right, perfect. So what we want to do now is we're going to play what Skip Bayless had to say. I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Skip Bayless here.
I'm going to go another level on this because I don't know what's going on exactly between, as Akib points out, between Dianna and Coach Vrabel. I don't know for sure. It's not a good look. I agree. And I appreciate everything you just said about your principles in this business because you're right about everything you said. And I have been doing this for a long time, and I'm going to talk quickly about something no one ever talks about, and it's the game within the game. And you guys have played it because I've been playing it for a long time in locker rooms all over this country. It's the deal that gets made, the unwritten, unsaid deal between the reporter / in my case, columnist, and the star player, or any player for that matter, anybody in the locker room, because you're going to make a deal without saying so that, hey, keeps going to say to me basically between the lines, I'll be available for you 24/7. You can text me anytime, call me anytime, I'll return your call. I'm going to give you great quotes. Every once in a while, off the record, I'm going to give you little scoops, maybe not bombshells, but little scoops about what's really going on inside this football team. And the deal we're going to make is that in return, I want your protection. I want you to, I'm going to buy some insurance from you, Mr. Reporter, where you don't write that negatively about me. If I have a bad game, you kind of gloss over that. If I misbehave a little bit off the field and I get tripped up in something, you're not going to try to run me out of town over that.
Right.
You're going to have my back basically through thick and thin, and it's the game within the game that we all have played and played and played. So in my early days, down through the years, I have seen several female reporters have something with an athlete or a coach and cross the line. And early on, it outraged me because you're selling out, man. Or woman, you're crossing a line that you shouldn't cross. And then these women started getting scoops, like big scoops, because of their relationships inside a team. And I said, well, okay, I guess you did get that back. I'm not sure that's exactly what they were. In the cases I knew, they just sort of fell for the player or the coach. They actually liked them a lot, and they had a relationship that went on for a while. But similarly, I have seen male reporters / columnists become friends with players and coaches to the point that they socialized, that they went to dinner, that they, and that would outrage me also, because I'm like, I'm not going to cross that line. Like, I'm going to keep an arm's length, maybe to a fault. Maybe I played it too hard and fast, but I'm not going to do that, because I'm going to remain completely objective, because if you do mess up on the field or off the field, I'm going to say so. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to talk about it. And I sort of backed off a little bit. Maybe I chilled out a little bit about these kind of relationships, because, to Diana's point, she's very good at what she does professionally. She's very good. And ironically, and maybe fittingly, she has been out front in reporting on A.J. Brown's issues in Philadelphia. And then if you want to put 2 + 2 together, is he bound for New England at some point with Coach Vrabel? Okay. So did she, was she encouraged inside? I'm just throwing out, these are the things that those pictures, these are the questions that they're going to raise, right? Okay. So in the end, it goes on everywhere that you're playing this game, you're making these deals. I don't know if you had any like this where you had a reporter who was kind of your guy.
All right.
Excellent. So you heard what Skip had to say. What are my thoughts about this? First of all, I don't think anybody here should be surprised by any of this whatsoever. And if you're surprised by this, you're being naive. The reason I say you're being naive is because we all know that the world operates off of relationships. Who you know, right? Who you know plays a major role in a lot of the success that we see around people, even in the podcast game, right? In the podcast game, there are a lot of talented people out there that don't have these major podcast deals. Why do you think that is? Because they're not good? No, it's because maybe they don't know the right people, or they don't have the right relationships, or they may be people that be good, that are good, that get overlooked for people that are not as good, but they know that person and they want to give them a leg up, right? This happens all the time in business. You're seeing it here. It's just a part of life. So if I'm being honest with you, none of this really surprises me. It may surprise some people, but it doesn't really surprise me. People are making a big deal out of it. And I guess from an ethical standpoint, it is a big deal, but it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, can you believe this? Who really thinks that? Right? Who really thinks that? It's like quid pro quo. I can't even say the damn word. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. That's a real thing. It's a real thing. We hear about it all the time in the music industry, in the movie industry, entertainment industry, and on and on and on and on and on. This world, I mean, a lot of the success that people have in most cases is based off of who you know and the relationships you have and what you're able to exchange in return for that, whether it's through pleasure or whatever it is, right? People buy information from people with money and all kind of things, right? So it really doesn't surprise me. I think the part that really stands out here is Skip Bayless kind of taking us behind the curtains and really like saying, yes, this actually happens. But beyond that, I'm not surprised whatsoever. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.